If Trump had never existed, how would you rate Biden so far as a president? How would you think he was doing if Trump just didn't exist?
Biden is clearly the most experienced president in American history when it comes to foreign policy. He knows the world. The danger is that he has spent most of his life, beginning in the early 1970s, in politics in the 20th century. And the ideas, the format, the framework, the infrastructure of dealing with the world comes from the 20th century. And as I said, he's piecemeal trying to create something as an alternative, but I don't think he's spoken enough, partly because we're stuck between climate and COVID in dealing with existential questions. The problem with American foreign policy, and again, as you know better than anyone, is that we are so often reactive and not as proactive as we could be given our power, whether it's military or economic. We are still very insecure. We've never quite understood that we really are a superpower. And the danger is we've gotten to the point that we may no longer be a superpower because of the very many different power centers evolving around the world.
So despite the fact the U.S. is clearly the most powerful country in the world, the fact that there is such a diffusion of power centers, both governments, non-governments, just limits the ability of the Americans to project leadership.
I think that's exactly right, yeah.
And Biden is aware of that, is not aware of that?
He may be aware of it, but presidents always get wrapped up in what do they have to do on any given day and what kind of pronouncements they have to make. And again, these existential challenges. I think he's really committed to a climate issue. I think in that case, he's very much a 21st century thinker. Whether he is in terms of how do you ensure that the United States is going to be a player. I think there's been a lot of clumsy behavior, particularly when it came to Afghanistan. The way the submarine deal, again, as you've made clear, alienated allies in ways that were totally unnecessary. That if we'd gotten everyone together, and this is where the United Nations was as a forum normally to kind of talk on the sidelines about what is it that we're going to do together, and there was very little of that. Biden was at the UN for, about 24 hours, and a lot of those sideline meetings were limited by mass, or they didn't happen at all.
You made very clear, Biden is by far the most experienced foreign policy hand of any president in recent memory. He's done it from the Senate, he's done it from the vice presidency, he's traveled around the world. He knows many of these leaders individually. His cabinet, they're adults, they're also very experienced, they've been around the block, you know them, I know them. And yet the things that he seems to be doing wrong seem to be about basic execution of stuff that these people should know how to do. Why do you think that is?
You're right that many of these people are on their second and even third time around, or they've been close to Biden for a very long time. Biden, at the end of the day, makes the decisions. We know that he has sometimes a bit of a temper. He's going to do what he wants to do, as he did in Afghanistan, over the advice of some of his top generals. He thinks he's got a way out and a way into the 21st century. And the problem is, I think he sees ways out of the past. I'm not sure that he gets ways into the future. And I fault some of the people close to him. I'm not sure they're as brave or bold or as big think. They're good thinkers. They're people with integrity. They're not, newcomers to foreign policy, but I'm not sure I can identify any one of them that I think is, the lightning, the inspiration, the one who's going to be the defining what a different world looks like coming out of conflict. But the thing that was so striking about the United Nations session was how Biden got up and tried to say he was effectively resetting foreign policy, that the era of relentless wars is over and the beginning of relentless diplomacy. Okay, what does that mean? And I'm not sure any of us came away with a better understanding. My gut is that it's a weak administration, that its heart's in the right place. Is its mind kind of coming up with enough, and its feet moving fast enough? And the answer is no.
So That's why I kind of asked a little bit about if there was no Trump, how do you think about this administration? Is this Carter? I mean, is this really good guy we trust? Solid experience around him, but ultimately not a strong and decisive leader. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Carter didn't have the foreign policy experience, and he got sucked into the Iran hostage episode, which, this is the problem for every president. There's some issue that diverts their attention, and whatever their lofty intentions from the beginning, they can't focus on it. So,
and that hasn't happened here, because of course this is a crisis presidency from day one. They're responding to COVID. They have to. That they know.
And they've been clumsy even on that in terms of telling people when things are going to happen and what. And the fact is, we could be doing far more. It's one thing to kind of give 1 million doses to poorer countries, but we're not allowing others the technology to develop themselves. I mean, this is an existential issue for the whole world, and we're being selfish about the intellectual property. I'm not sure that's the smartest idea if you're trying to ensure that there's a global economy that comes out of this with any health.